We wear the mask that grins and lies.
It shades our cheeks and hides our eyes. This day we pay to human God.
Con corazones desgarrados y sangrantes.
We smile and mouth the myriad subtleties.
Why should the world think otherwise?
In counting all our tears and sighs.
Nay, let them only see us while
We wear the
mask.
We accepted Theo Edmonds' challenge to create a space of cultural well-being in the place where we learn. DOS went through an audit this year that gave us a student survey. The lowest scoring items were related to respect, culture, and teaching strategies. And we believe that the lack of cultural well-being is one of the driving factors behind the low results. Theo challenged us to share our why. No one knew what that meant initially, but the more we thought about it, the harder it was to find a single why. When we shared our whys with each other, we realized that we were all affected by our backgrounds in different ways. It was such a great bonding experience.
We chose this challenge because we wanted to see better interactions between students. We chose DOS as our community because we spend a lot of time at school, and it is very diverse. We had a lot of deep conversations about it, and the question most with us was, what does it mean to be yourself? We got so blown out by the question, we realized we need a whole class to explore it. This needs to be addressed because a lot of people do not get along and do not understand each other's culture.
in the beginning, we had to focus on getting support from our school. So we scheduled meetings with our administration to secure a classroom, and we were allowed to start our class next year if we could find a teacher and develop an acceptable syllabus. After this, we wanted to get perspectives from outside our school. So we scheduled meetings with Theo Edmonds and Sasha McCormick, and they inspired us to look beyond our own perspectives.
We took our ideas to 2 freshman focus groups. The responses surprised us and inspired us to change the class to better fit their needs. There was one student who didn't seem to be taking our focus group seriously. But when he looked to his responses, we realized that he was probably the one who needed the most.
We also used survey from Theo. The result of that survey left us very amazed. On many questions, about 25% of the students indicate a lack of learning, and 25% can be seen as a small part of the student. But for us, mean a lot because it means that 1 of 4 students at the school feel that they don't have nobody when they need it the most. This will be the same number of the students as entire graduating.
Our class is very feasible as we have a classroom and a teacher has been selected and the students are very excited. Our class is also very accessible because it requires students to just come to school. We chose a class instead of a club, so it'd be more accessible because a lot of students don't have transportation after school.
Our class syllabus was created based on all of the experiences and research we accumulated throughout the challenge. The cultural identity class focuses on the sharing of culture and the interaction between students. The teacher facilitates conversations in class rather than directly teaching them, and daily engagement and participation are required. The goal of the class is to overall make students culturally humble while promoting well-being and a sense of belonging and preparing them for the diverse real world. The only thing necessary for this class is to bring yourself. We also created 5 different units with the opportunity for students to create their very own unit at the end of the class.
Annie, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, I realize it right now. It is the first time for those high school participating in the Aspen Challenge. We had group members who were not attending and we had to confront the problem. We had to have a direct and difficult conversation in our group. People were very frustrated. It seemed like our team would only have 2 or 3 people. We had people join and quit. We learned that before we can know the focus group, we have to learn about ourselves and our own cultures. But after all, we kept our optimism and we achieved our goal. The hatches made us feel more committed to the project.
We started at DOS by making this a class next year, but we eventually want to make this a required class in Jefferson County.
We wear the mask.
Well, we should have to.
Thank you for your time, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have about our ideas.
Awesome
Good
job,
job,
guys.
guys. Awesome. Woo!
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
To the screen and no video. So I was like, yay, I was doing all kind of stuff. Excellent job. Are you ready for some questions from the judges? You sure?
Yes.
Yep.
Y'all got this. Okay, let's see. They're coming back on. Oh, I'm on the wrong. Okay, here we go. Got a question from Judge Hannah Drake.
I absolutely, for some reason, I can't start my video, but I hope you all can hear me. I absolutely loved this challenge and this project. I thought it was so ambitious to not have an after school club, but to say we are going to start a class. So hats off to you for doing that. I wanted to ask, and I think you may have said this in the end of your presentation, but I couldn't quite hear, would this be an elective or like a required class for all incoming freshmen?
So the end goal for
We
our
want
class,
to make it an actual required class.
yeah.
Oh, Judge Letitia Sparks, I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback on that question from Hannah a little bit. And I think what I'm understanding from the written report is that next year will sort of be a pilot for the class. Is that true?
Yes.
And let me add to that then, how will the students be chosen for next year? How many sections will there be? Is it just going to be one class? A little more detail about even the pilot.
They will be able to select the class next year, like when we go to make schedules and stuff. After this coronavirus, they will be able to select the class to actually be able to be in. And I'm pretty sure that there's only going to be one course. That's up to the principal.
Thank you.
All right, we got a question from Judge Josh Miller.
To echo what Hannah and Letitia said, I thought it was a great idea that you all thought about adding a class to the schedule. I love that idea. I was wondering, as you talk about cultural well-being and thinking about inclusion within the school and this class, how you all are thinking about measuring the impact, and also have you had discussions related to other schools across JCPS incorporating this type of foundational class for freshmen?
So at the start of the project, we had a meeting with Theo Edmonds, right? He gave us a very useful tool that we actually used when we did the focus groups. It's this one well-being survey. And we used it as a way to like survey, see how they're doing, like how students are doing right now. And we plan on using the same survey like after the class has gone through to see how they evolve from like the beginning to the end. And our end goal is to like get this class all over JCPS, not just our own school. We want it to be in like a class that's available for everyone, because if it's not, then what's the point, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. We have a question from Judge Garvin Dieters.
Thank you all so much. It's been a great presentation. I just had an opportunity to look at your syllabus, and I was wondering, I think in the presentation it was stated, which I loved, that in order to do this work, you must know about ourselves and our own culture. And I was just curious if you could shed a little light on some of the background work that would be necessary to carry out the syllabus for this class. Thank you.
Any one of y'all can answer.
So
Okay,
I
from
my
Go
bad.
John. It's good. Yeah.
So for in terms of background work, I think most of all we have to like have actual conversations with the students, right? We have to initiate conversations with them, get them in the mood for talking. And in the case of like something serious coming up, we have people that could take care of it. Like just in case we have a mental health protection. I know Abby knows this. My bad. I can't remember specifically right now, but
Miss Down.
Ms. Dow. Yeah, there you go. We this teacher. She's specialized in mental health and she's a good resource just in case like if something serious comes out when discussing our topics, we can rely on her like taking over and lowering like controlling the situation more.
Excellent response, John. You did great. We got a question from Judge Letitia Sparks.
I wanted to go, Annie mentioned this in the presentation, a little bit about the challenges of the team and maybe some members who moved in and out of the team. I'd like to hear just a little more about what those challenges were and how you were able to overcome those.
Well, a lot of our teammates ended up dropping out on us during the middle of it. So we ended up having to figure out how to do our ideas on our own. So we had less people to share their ideas. So it took a lot of conversation to be able to understand the best way to go about it. And what was it? Being able to get like teachers and stuff when we went to go get meetings started, it was hard to get everybody to do it on time for the schedule so we can do that aspect. So time was a very difficult thing too.
And Annie, I saw that you were trying to answer too, and you were just on mute. So we're going to unmute you right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, especially for me, I wasn't part of the group at the beginning. I became part of the group because our group was almost most part of the members were gone. That's why I became part of it. I wanted to help to make real this idea because I really loved it as soon as I heard it. And at the beginning, I was lost, and that was another struggle for me because and for the team because they have to help me to get into it and to learn what they were trying to make. And I think that was one of our biggest struggles of all of them, because in most of the cases our team members weren't there, and that make us lose like our points or something. But after all, we try and we keep working, and we could make this.
I like that. Y'all get a snaps for that. Okay, we got a question from Judge Hannah Drake. Coming to you from
I wanted to ask on the written report you all did. You said by show of hands, a lot of people enthusiastically agreed with the class, but all of the hands didn't go up. Did you do any follow-up for the students that didn't put their hands up to see why they would just not kind of be interested in the class?
Yes, we have some of the follow-up, but a lot of our stuff is at school. So, but a lot of, yeah. So a lot of them, we were actually going to go over it before school ended, but yeah, a lot of them, they were just not paying attention. And a lot of them were just, freshmen. They didn't really care at the time. So, but when you look at the surveys, it shows that they really need the class the most, which is what I found interesting.
Also, if I can add something, I think for most of these students, they don't really think that someone can really care about them and how they feel in the places that they go usually. So when we try to present to them our idea, most of them thought that we were doing because we were making a project, not because we really care about how they feel. So was most of them didn't think that we were doing it seriously, and they didn't take seriously either.
Mhm. Judges, any more questions for DOS? All right. Excellent, excellent job, DOS. Y'all give it up for yourself.
Great job. Great
Good
job.
job, you guys. Nice to see you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, judges.
Good job.